So we first start by reviewing the Relative Strength Index page, or RSI. And this page shows two graphs. The top one is basically the price action of the selected asset. The bottom graph is the RSI. In this case, we have selected the Dow Jones Industrial Average Index for the year 2020 between January and December. And on this top graph, we can also superimpose simple moving averages, like the 20 days in orange, or the 50 days in magenta, or the 100 days in yellow, or the 200 days in white. So let's remove these. And so if we have a look at the RSI, so what do we see for that year? By the way, this is we recognize here the familiar COVID pattern. So the RSI shows a bottom, so an oversold condition where the RSI reaches a value of 17.26 on the 28th of Feb of that year, which is actually this low here in the index, 28th of Feb. When the index did bottom later on the 23rd of March, we do not see a very low value of RSI. However, we see later on a overbought condition of the RSI on the 8th of June of that year, and it corresponds to this peak here in the index on the 8th of June. We see another oversold condition on the 28th of October of that year, which is here this value here. What is also interesting to see, let's suppose now we're gonna toggle and shift from daily sampling rate to weekly sampling rate. Now what we see is that the RSI bottoms on the 20th of March, and actually this corresponds and is aligned with the bottoming of the index on the 20th of March when we choose weekly sampling rates. So this is the first page of the 4 that we will review in this video. The next one will be about Bollinger Bands indicators. Quick disclaimers. We do not give investment or financial advice. We are only sharing our personal opinions. So now this is the Bollinger Bands page. In this case, we have selected the DAX index for the year 2020, again between January and December. So top graph is the DAX price action. Bottom graph shows the Bollinger Bands indicators. And in the bottom graph, we see the light blue, which is the DAX index. The dark blue is the mid, let's say, value of the Bollinger Bands, which is the computed using a 20-period moving average. And then the red line and the green line are basically two standard deviations around the dark blue line. So we see when during the initial part of the COVID, the first few weeks, that the index dropped sharply, and we see here indeed the index is really aligned with the lower two sigma, so two standard deviation boundary, and then it recovered. We see here when it was when we saw in the RSI in a overbought condition. Now we see the index here aligning or with the green upper boundary. So the Bollinger Bands also helps indicating or identifying periods of overbought or oversold conditions, but it's also a measure of price volatility. Another thing that I wanted to show you is, again, you can superimpose here simple moving averages. So the four ones that we have, so the 20 days, 50 days, 100 and 200 days. And in the lower graph, in the Bollinger Bands graph, you can also, if you click on one of these symbols here, for instance, suppose you click on this dark one, then you can remove it from the graph. If you click again, you will see it. And sometimes perhaps you only want to see one of the metrics and not all of them. And if you want to see that, then you can double click on it. So if you double click, then this is all what you see. And so we can go back, we double click again on it, and then we have them back again. So this is also helps you if sometimes you want to zoom in on specific indicators to just select the ones that you really want to see. Okay, in the next part of the video, we will move to the MACD, the Moving Average Convergence Divergence Indicator. Quick interruption. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe and share the video with your network. Okay, now we have moved to the MACD page. So let's select now the Dutch IX Amsterdam Index, also for the year 2020, between January and December. So this is the top graph is the IX index, and the bottom graph is the MACD. As usual, on top graph, you can superimpose simple moving averages if you're interested. Now, the bottom graph shows a few signals. First, the dark blue one, which is the EMA exponential moving average using 12 periods of the IX index minus the EMA using 26 periods of the index. So if we do that, we get the blue one. The red one is actually a smooth version of the blue one, which is we apply an EMA of 9 periods to the blue one, we get the red one. And then the histograms are basically the blue line minus the red line. And so the histograms, they show a potential momentum or trend. So in this case, when it's positive, you see here, this is the zero line. When the histograms are positive, this could potentially indicate a trending upward of the IX index in this case. If it's negative, we might be having a price going down. And the height of the histograms indicates the strength of the momentum. So this is an interesting indicator. And again, if you suppose you only want to focus on the histograms, what you can do is remove the other lines. So if you click on here on this legend, the red one, it will remove it. You click on the blue one. Now you only have the histograms. And now you can combine this bottom graph with the top graph to identify, potential buy or sell moments during your trading strategy. The next and final page that we'll review in this video will be about the Renko Bars. So now this is the Renko Bars page. We will now check the S&P 500 ETF, the SPY index. Let's take the year 2020, January until 2021 December. Let's go for weekly indeed. We can superimpose simple moving averages if we want. And the bottom graph shows the Renko bars. So when we have red blocks, it's actually bearish movement. When we have green blocks, it's actually bullish movement. Notice here that the x-axis is actually not time, but it's bricks, and a new brick is being added every time the price of the asset moves beyond a certain threshold. And how did we determine the threshold? In our case, we used a simplified average true range indicator for that. So this approach, using Renko bars, allows to filter out some of the noise, some of the high frequency noise, and potentially to really identify bullish or bearish trends. Thank you for watching, and until next time.